Imagine being buried with 27 pieces of jewelry, bracelets stacked from wrist to elbow, rings on nearly every finger. Not as decoration, but as a statement that would outlast you by 3,000 years. In the mountains of Chechnya, archaeologists have just uncovered a woman whose burial was so extraordinary, so deliberately arranged, that researchers are still struggling to explain who she really was. This is not legend. This is not myth. This is real, and it was found in the ground just months ago. If discoveries like this fascinate you, hit subscribe right now, and drop a comment below telling us what ancient civilization you find most mysterious. Let's get into it. Deep in the Chechen Republic, in the Russian North Caucasus, a routine infrastructure project triggered one of the most significant archaeological finds in the region in decades. In 2025, ahead of the reconstruction of the Novogrozny Surzenyurt gas pipeline, rescue excavations were launched by the Institute of Archaeology of the Russian Academy of Sciences. What they expected was perhaps a modest scattering of ancient remains. What they found rewrote expectations entirely. The site is called Kumik II, a burial ground that forms part of a far larger necropolis stretching across the Chechen lowlands. Archaeologists now estimate the full necropolis may contain up to 2,000 individual graves. Of the 160 burials formally excavated so far, many were rich with grave goods. But one burial, belonging to a woman who lived roughly 3,000 years ago, stopped the team cold. She had been placed in the earth according to the customs of the Eastern Koban culture, a sophisticated Bronze and early Iron Age civilization that thrived across the North Caucasus from approximately the 10th to the first half of the 8th century BCE. This was a culture known for its metalwork, its distinctive burial practices, and its complex social hierarchies. And this woman, whoever she was, appears to have sat near the very top of that hierarchy. When excavators carefully cleared the burial, what emerged was remarkable. The woman had been interred with 19 bronze bracelets and 8 rings, 27 pieces of jewelry in total, most of them worn on her hands and arms at the time of burial. The bracelets were stacked in layers, running up both forearms in a deliberate, almost ceremonial arrangement. The rings adorned her fingers with a density that would be considered extraordinary in any ancient context, let alone one this remote and this old. Beyond the jewelry, the burial inventory was extensive. Across the broader site, some individual graves contained up to 60 distinct items, including ceramics, personal ornaments, and other carefully chosen objects. The grave goods were not randomly placed. They were arranged, suggesting intentionality, ritual, and meaning. The woman was found lying on her side, a burial posture consistent with Eastern Koban funerary customs, and her grave was oriented in alignment with practices documented across other Koban sites in the region. Nothing about her burial appears accidental. Every object, every positioning, every choice seems deliberate. What makes this mysterious is not just the quantity of the jewelry, but the effort behind it. Bronze, in the early Iron Age Caucasus, was not cheap or casual. It required skilled metalworking, access to raw materials, and significant social investment. 19 bracelets and 8 rings represent an enormous concentration of material wealth for a single individual. And that individual was a woman. Researchers from the Institute of Archaeology of the Russian Academy of Sciences have been careful in their interpretations, and rightly so. The evidence points clearly in one direction: high social status. But the precise nature of that status remains a matter of active scholarly discussion. One leading interpretation is that this woman was a member of the tribal elite. In many ancient North Caucasian societies, jewelry served not merely as adornment, but as a visible marker of rank, lineage, and social identity. The number and quality of her bracelets and rings could indicate that she belonged to a ruling family, a chiefly class, or a hereditary aristocracy within the Eastern Koban community. A second theory focuses on ritual or spiritual significance. Across numerous ancient cultures, individuals buried with exceptional grave goods were sometimes religious specialists, priests, shamans, or ritual practitioners whose community role warranted elaborate funerary treatment. The deliberate, almost theatrical stacking of bracelets on both arms has led some researchers to consider whether this woman held a spiritual or ceremonial function within her society, with the jewelry serving as tools or symbols of that role rather than simply markers of personal wealth. A third line of analysis centers on tribal affiliation. In Eastern Koban culture, jewelry styles, compositions, and arrangements are known to vary across different tribal and regional groups. The specific types of bracelets and rings found in this burial may, upon closer metallurgical and typological analysis, help identify which branch or subgroup of the Koban culture this woman belonged to, and potentially her family's geographic origins. What researchers agree on is this: the Eastern Koban culture was far more socially sophisticated than older models suggested. This burial adds important evidence to the growing picture of a stratified, organized, and materially rich civilization operating in the Caucasus 3 millennia ago. The debate is not about whether this woman was significant. The debate is about precisely how. Discoveries like this one matter for reasons that extend far beyond a single grave. For much of modern history, the ancient peoples of the North Caucasus have been understudied relative to more famous civilizations of the ancient world: Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, Rome. The Eastern Koban culture, despite producing extraordinarily sophisticated metalwork and maintaining complex social structures, has remained relatively obscure in the global archaeological conversation. This find changes that. It gives us a face, not literally, but socially, for a woman who lived and died in the Caucasus in approximately 900 to 750 BCE. It tells us that women in this culture could accumulate or be granted significant social capital. It tells us that this civilization invested deeply in marking death with meaning. And it tells us that the North Caucasus, long treated as a peripheral zone in ancient history, was home to organized, hierarchical, and culturally rich societies operating at the same time as the great civilizations of the ancient Mediterranean. The Cumik II site is still being studied. Laboratory analysis of the skeletal remains, the metal composition of the jewelry, and the ceramic grave goods will all contribute to a fuller picture over the coming years. With potentially 2,000 graves in the broader necropolis, what has been found so far may be only the beginning. Here is the question we want you to sit with. If this woman's identity, her exact role, her name, her story could somehow be recovered, what do you think we would find? Was she a queen? A priestess? A warrior? A healer? Drop your theory in the comments. We read every single one. If this story moved you the way it moved us, if the idea that a woman buried 3,000 years ago in the mountains of Chechnya is still speaking to us today, gives you chills, then please share this video. Show it to someone who loves history or someone who thinks ancient history has nothing left to surprise us. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button so more people can find stories like this one. We'll see you in the next one.